Hey game devs, last one for today. Let's talk about what we have here. We have the fence post, the fence, the door frame or the door, and our whole shelf right here. So the last thing we really need is if we look at our picture and we come back in here, let's see, it's probably not zoomed in. Oh, it is. We have this little thing right here. And this is kind of what we were talking about in class to make a really cool beveled edge on something. It's sometimes easier to do it this way. So let me show you. I'm going to go to the left in this case. And I'm going to look, this is what I'm going to base it off of. And what I'm going to do is extend this out and have it have these chamfered pieces inside of here. And we could take a lot of time to do this, but for our purposes right this second, I'm not going to fight with making it perfect. So here, let's do this. I'm going to take and make a new line and go to the edge of this one. I can snap if it makes me feel better. Snap right to it. And I'll turn the snap back off, and then I'll come out, I don't know, probably that far. And basically, like I said in class, this is going to be the beveled shape that we use for houses and other things like that. But it's just an edge treatment for to break up the space. It's just a visual thing. And in Roman architecture, there's a lot of it. And it's beautiful. Crown molding is the example that I used in class, so same kind of deal. All we have to do is make our shape, and I'm going to grab this one, and I'll show you a couple little things about doing stuff with Beziers and getting things to be smooth, because I kind of want this rounded. First thing I usually do is I'm going to remove, I think you can just take this vert right here and delete it, yeah, and it'll get rid of it. If I push delete, it gets rid of that thing right there. So I kind of want this to be smooth, and I want it to be sharp, but smooth. And if I do this just like that, it looks okay, but really I want it to be more rounded. So I might pull at some points here. If you've worked in Photoshop and the Bezier curves inside of there, you'll see somewhat similar responses. I'm going to pull this down a little bit, and then, you know, I'd tweak this until I was blue in the face, but something like that. Then I'm going to do that same thing for this right here, maybe. I don't even know if I want to, but let's try smooth on. Yeah, that sounds cool. And then I'm going to do that, something like that. So I'm going to make this one straight though. Yeah. So this is the profile shape that we're going to use. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about it, but you can always come back and tweak it after you're done. All you have to do at this point, and we'll call this the molding. We're going to take this and we're going to extrude it. So we go to modifier list and we go to extrude. It's always at the top here, boom. And then we extrude it. And if we take a look at it, it's that far. Since I snapped, it did some stupid stuff. So let me fix what I'm working on here. Take this one vert here, go to the front view. And all we need to do is make this line up like that. Top. That's pretty good. Okay, then we'll do extrude again. I need to be out of the vertex mode. Extrude. Down here, extrusion, and we're going to pull this all the way out to the beginning out here, and we're going to extrude it so it's the right distance. And if we match it, it should be 300, just like before. And then we can turn on the snap tool and snap that vert. No, grab this one. Oops. Turn on that lock real quick, and then we should be perfect. So now I've got this, and this is why I was talking about getting rid of this face before. Now I've got this, and it looks like it's inverted. Sometimes when you do things like this with an editable spline and do the extrusion, it does stupid things like this, which is inverted. All we have to do is grab, let me hide everything else first. Okay, so see how we can see the inside, but we can't see the outside, it's all black? Well, we just grab it, go to poly mode, grab, and it looks like, turn off that snap. There we go. Grab all those and we just do this right here, flip. Now it'll be the exterior. Now the deal is as many pieces as you can you put here or as many as you want. It's all up to you. But then if we unhide by name real quick, or I use even better the layer modifier, now I have that. Now what I would initially do is I'd take this right here, and I grab this piece. I'm gonna get out of the poly mode here. I'll grab this and I will say attach, and I'll attach this piece to it. And that means I can get rid of this piece because I don't need it anymore. Right? And that means I can probably snap this one or weld those two together. And you can see that I had 106, now I have 104. And if I look at it from the side, I think there's a little bit of a slant going on here. And now that I have it in a usable mode where I can change things pretty easily, I can just do Z and it'll snap it down. And then, you know, then I can modify it by hand a little bit if I want. Generally, you want to do this before you modify. You want to shape it before you collapse it down. But I'm going to weld those two back up there. And it looks like they may be too far apart. So we'll do the weld with the options, turn it up till we get our snap. Interestingly enough, there we go. It looks like it made it gap, but it really didn't. It was just doing a refresh problem. And there we go. So the last thing I would do, and a lot of this stuff, don't forget, it's attached, but they're separate elements. So this is a separate element. Well, this actually I attached all together. This is a separate element and things like that. So I'm going to attach this piece here to it. So now I have them all as one piece. Makes my life really easy because when I go to turn on the snap tool and I grab the space bar and then I see this right here, I grab to the farthest edge, hold shift and then drag, it's going to snap that farthest edge to the opposite edge when I put the snap tool on. And this, we'll see if it's set up right. Now you can see that it's set up. I put enough space in between these two and they're working fine. And I can grab it. The great thing about the lock tool is that sometimes when you lock it, as soon as you make, when you make a duplicate of it and you pop it right over there, it's unlocked. So now I'm not locked into that object anymore. Now if we turn off the wireframes, we can see, there you go. There's our piece. We'll talk about making the columns in class. I have a pretty detailed tutorial. Everything should look fine. And if you want, we can change this to a lighter color like gray. I guess we could change it all to gray. Since it's all separate pieces, you can't even tell, but that's the way it's going to kind of be in game too. Separate pieces that you can't even see. All right, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.